Hey everybody, welcome to Chapter 3 of our Meet Our Honors Faculty series here in the Honors College at Texas A&M University-Texarkana. My name is Craig Nakashian. I'm the Dean of the Honors College here at A&M Texarkana, and today I am joined by one of my colleagues, Dr. Greg Hogan, who is an Associate Professor of Chemistry as well as the Division Chair of Science and Mathematics here at A&M. So how you doing, Greg?
Oh, thank you, Craig. Appreciate it.
Awesome, awesome.
Love the
So
warm welcome.
Yeah, that's yes, exactly. We are ebullient here in the Honors College. So much like the other series entries, I'm gonna just ask a few questions to Dr. Hogan, kind of get a sense of who he is and what brought him to us. So with that, I'll start there. Where are you from originally? What brought you to A&M Texarkana? How long you been here? All that stuff.
All right. So originally, I grew up in a small little rural town outside of New Orleans, Louisiana, called the Zalmans.
Okay.
So I lived in Louisiana all my life. Went to My undergrad was in Louisiana Lafayette. Then moved over to Mississippi State to start grad school, and then finished up in Missouri, where then I took my first teaching position at Northwestern State back in Louisiana. And then eventually matriculated up to Texarkana in the fall of 2016. So I think I'm finishing my ninth year.
Wow,
Math serves me correct. 9 years here at A&M Texarkana.
that's crazy. Did you get any guff for crossing the border into Mississippi for your graduate work? Did anyone in Louisiana have any problem with that?
No, not really. I think it was pretty kosher. At least it stayed in the SEC. That was at least a decent thing out of it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the most important thing. Same conference. That's a good point.
Man.
And you did play, didn't you? You played baseball?
Yeah, a long time ago. Not too much to really get excited about, but yes, when you get the broken arm effect.
I'll do
So
it. So you're a chemist, and so the question I think is, what got you interested in chemistry? Why'd you want to become a professor of chemistry?
Well, multi-tiered kind of thing, but start with the earliest. When I was in high school, I had a really good high school teacher for chemistry, so I was able to take Chem 1 and then the AP Chemistry 2. So, because the way he used to teach everything, it was set up pretty much like college chemistry. So, my junior year of taking Chem 1, it was in essence kind of like taking General Chemistry 1, General Chemistry 2. And then when I took the AP course, it was like Organic 1 and Organic 2. So it was literally, I was exposed to it from a very beginning and got to it. And I was very interested. And when I actually started off my first semester of college, I was actually a chemical engineer just because of the parish I grew up in St. Charles Parish. It had all the kind of the petroleum
Hmm.
industry. So with like Exxon, places like that, right on the Mississippi River. So I thought that was going to be the idea that, hey, I'll get a chemical engineering degree, go back to work back home-ish. You obviously see how that turned out.
Yeah, right. Here you are.
And so after my first semester of engineering, I was like, yeah, I took an intro engineering class. I didn't like it, just dropped the engineering, went to chemistry, and been that way ever since. And, for pursuing on grad school
Hmm.
was all because of my undergraduate inorganic chemistry professor.
Yeah.
I did research with him, and ever since that point, I fell in love with the inorganic chemistry field, and that's where I went to pursue my graduate degree. Everything in and currently is associate professor with inorganic chemistry is my expertise.
Yeah, and I love that you brought up the importance of teaching, right? In the sense, I mean, we're self-interested in this; it's what we do to some extent. But how important good teachers, good professors can be for kind of opening our eyes to what our disciplines can represent, and also mentioning the importance of undergraduate research. So that I think dovetails with my next question. What attracted you to getting involved with honors? I know you were active when we had an honors program, and you've maintained that activity now that we've transitioned to an honors college. So, what attracted you to joining the honors faculty?
I think the biggest thing is it's for the students, because it's what's going to set them apart of them trying to, if they want to matriculate on into grad programs or professional programs, just that little bit of extra, the extra of having the honors projects, the honors college tied to their resumes will just really set them aside of other people and put them apart. And I think that's the biggest thing, especially in the sciences, because, with the use of research and the development research, really just, you know, when you go to grad programs, that's going to be what you're expected to do. So, and if a student is interested in here in their undergraduate days, then, that transition going into a grad program is going to be a lot smoother as opposed to somebody who hasn't done research and now they get thrown into a lab and their advisor going to be like, hey, go do all of this.
Right.
And it might be a little bit overwhelming for people.
I know that you've been very active in honors, which I of course appreciate. So thank you. You've given a number of talks for us, and it's the only reason I know anything about the intercalation of molecules is based on what you've talked about. And I know that you've worked a lot with one of our upcoming graduates, Charles. He'll be graduating this spring with his chemistry major. And so, kind of thinking on those experiences in general, what would you like students in honors to get out of their experience in honors?
Well, I think it's kind of a multi-tiered kind of thing, but I think the simplest thing would be, is to get the experiences.
Hmm.
Obviously, like I said, the sciences, getting into research and like you mentioned with Charles, if I can find more time in my day to finish a manuscript that I have that I can see right here on my desktop. I'm going to point at it.
Love it.
It's right there. If I can finish the last two paragraphs, there's a publication for Charles Gross, who's, like Greg said, is our next graduate for chemistry. And those little things like that is what really sets us apart.
Hmm.
And that's what a great experience, in my opinion, for any honor student is that ability to get publications. And then Charles also and another student named Jonah Bruins was able to present and had an abstract submitted for the Southwest American Chemical Society meeting. So, they had poster presentation, there's things set up, that not a normal graduate student, or sorry, normal undergrad student can't get these experiences.
Right.
So,
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, and certainly it dovetails with, how we've designed the honors curriculum as much as possible, right? The idea that
agree.
students kind of have those opportunities. So my last sort of formal question is a little broader, and it asks for us to reflect on our time as students, I guess, more your time since you're the one being interviewed. What do you wish you knew as a student? The
Ooh,
standard question of, if I knew then what I know now. Is there anything you wish you knew as an undergraduate?
I don't. That's a very difficult question. Yeah, because undergrad days was, you know, yeah, obviously a long time ago.
Longer for me than you, sir.
Very true. Probably
Young.
just a few years, but no, I think my undergrad days, I had the experience, and that's the one thing I'm glad I had from athletics,
Right.
from academics, being able to undergo research. And I had a publication also with my undergrad days with my inorganic professor that I spoke about. So I think a lot of that, just built in that overall undergrad experience. Maybe since it was Louisiana, maybe if I would have paid attention a little bit more in class. I know I tell that to my students, but it's hard to say that because, yeah, I went to grad school, so I think I paid enough attention.
That's
But I think it's just one of those things. Maybe if I would have done, an extra project or something else, I don't know, got involved somehow, in the
yeah.
industry in Lafayette, Louisiana.
You don't have any major regrets, though.
No, I don't think I have any regrets because heck, I even met my wife in a
Yeah.
chemistry class in undergrad too. So I
Yeah,
think,
it's one of those interesting questions because uh, generally speaking, I think back on my undergraduate days, and I tried to take advantage of everything I could as an undergraduate, mostly because I had screwed up completely in high school. I was a terrible high school student. So in some ways that served me well as an undergraduate. I was like, oh, I don't want to waste this. And that's at least for me what draws me into honors is I don't want students to come out of their experience regretting
Yeah.
things like, oh, I wish I had done
Yeah.
this, that, or the other thing, you know. So I don't know if it's the same for you or not.
I guess it has that possibility. I enjoyed my high school days as well too. I wish the only thing I could say from high school, I wish I could have been ranked a little bit higher, but there was this one class my freshman year I didn't pay attention to. So free enterprise and civics, yeah.
I'm not even sure I had a ranking in my high school class. We had like 250 graduates, and I might have been like 260. So there you go. I was whatever the bottom was, I was a little below it.
I think I was 22 out of nearly 500, I believe, something like that.
Overachiever. Um, is there anything else you want to share about yourself or about your experiences, Texarkana, prognostications for next year's SEC? Anything?
Oh, I can go on any of those. Don't talk about the Saints right now because oof,
You guys might get Shador Sanders. I don't know. They talk about him dropping.
they're talking about it, but we'll see.
I hear tell your quarterback just got injured, so there you go.
Yeah, and with a big pocket of money, but
Right.
I don't know. I think a lot of I think this, like I said, we did the honors and the personal thing. My kids are wonderful athletes right now. We have four boys, one that does travel soccer, and then three gymnasts, which the our oldest two just competed level 6 this year, which kind of scaling things. They start off as level 3 as their lowest level, and kind of like collegiate gymnasts are in that level 10 to 11.
Wow.
So, but like I said, they're 10 years old
I was going to say
and
they're
they're
quite young.
already, yeah, and they're level 6 already, and they have some wonderful coaches. So, I think it's the same thing for them is the experiences that they're developing already,
Yeah.
and I guess the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree because I was told those same twins they're going to be in the accelerated math for next year, which is going to
Oh,
put them on track to being into calculus for high school. Yay!
nope, not me. That's true. You do. Both you and your wife were college athletes, so I am not shocked in that sense.
Well, the athletes and thankfully the academics too.
I
So
was going
that's
to say you were both chemists. Is that right?
yeah, both chemists. She has a master's in chemistry.
Yeah.
So I usually say only a master's, but
Oh, oh, good. Yeah,
I'll
I'm
do a
sure
little
that goes well for you at home. I can see how that turns out.
bit
Anything else you want to share with I will say hundreds of viewers of this video,
No,
thousands.
I just say, just the simple things, just keep, no matter what subject you're involved in, make sure it's the subject you enjoy, because it's one things I tell my students all here, like when they're saying they're majoring in X, Y, or Z. I was like, well, think about it once you get out of it, are you going to enjoy it? If it's something like you've mentioned that you're going to regret that you had this major and you wish you would have done that, it's okay to start researching things just to make sure it fits and aligns with what you're interested in. Me, I chose the perfect field.
Yeah.
I love chemistry. I love to talk about it, and I love to do it in the lab. So there's nothing else I would want to do more than looking at some molecules. And I remember I may shoot you this. Our interview from the Welsh Foundation got published on the website.
Very cool.
So there's another interview also there talking about the Department of Chemistry with the Welsh Foundation of Texas.
Well, we will look forward to that as well. Well, thank you, Dr. Hogan. I've enjoyed this. I'll get this uploaded, and there you go. Thank you all for joining us for this third installment, I believe, of our Meet Our Honors faculty. So take care, man.
Thank you so very